Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us today. I'd like to seek the blessings of Radha and Krishna, Radha Madhav, Radha Shamsundar, Krishna Balaram, Gauritai, Srila Prabhupada, and Guru Maharaj, and the assemblation, so that we continue with the 11th canto, 18th chapter today. And this is the verse, Allah Dyavva na Visideta Kale Kale Asanam Vachit Labdva na Rishyet Dritiman Ubhayam Deva Tantritam. If at times one does not obtain proper food, one should not be depressed. And when one obtains some such food, one should not rejoice. Being fixed in determination, one should understand both situations to be under the control of God. So this is in relation to, again, the Varnashram we're going to talk about today. And this is, the chapter is called Description of Varnashram. As related in this chapter, Lord Sri Krishna explains to Uddhav the duties of the Varnaprastha and Sannyas orders and the religious practices proper to each of these levels of advancement. So there are 4 spiritual orders: Brahmachari, Grahastha. And then that's what we discussed yesterday in chapter 17. Today, chapter 18 talks about Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So in the Vanaprastha stage, one who takes to the Vanaprastha stage of life should leave his wife at home in care of his sons, or else take her along, and with a peaceful mind, spend the 3rd quarter of his life in the forest. He should accept as his food whatever bulbs, fruits, roots, and so on that grow in the forest, taking sometimes grains cooked by fires and sometimes fruits ripened by time. Furthermore, he should take as his garments free bark, grass, leaves, or the skin of a deer. It is prescribed that he should perform austerities by not cutting his hair, beard, or nails. He should bathe 3 times daily in cold water and sleep upon the ground. So this is really austere stuff. Further austerities in the Vanaprastha stage. During the hot season, he should stand beneath the fearsome heat of the sun with fires blazing on 4 sides. During the rainy season, he should stand in the midst of downpour of rain. And during the cold winter, he should submerge himself in water up to his neck. He should not clean his teeth. To store food that he has collected at one time to eat at another time, he should not do either. And he should not worship the Lord with flesh of animals. Now, what's the point of all of these heavy austerities? Is to realize that we are not the body. And in this age, it's quite hard. It's practically impossible to do these things. But in previous ages, this was a standard. So, but Kali Yuga is different now. So, the Vanaprastha should perform the Agnihotra, Dash, and Purnamasa sacrifices, as he did while in the Grihastha ashram. He should also perform the vows and sacrifices of Chaturmasya, accepting only the bare necessities of life. Through severe austerities, he goes to Mahalok planet. So that's it's above the heavens. If the Vanaprastha, understanding that even promotion to Brahmlok is a miserable situation, develops complete detachment from all possible results of fruitive activities, then he may take the sannyas order of life. So that's the next stage. So if Vanaprastha is hard, can you imagine sannyas? The 4th, so we're going to talk about sannyas now. The 4th quarter of life is meant for sannyas. Wishes for material elevation are due to desire for fruits of material activities. When one recognizes that endeavors to achieve residence on higher planets ultimately avoid only suffering, then it is enjoined that one should take to sannyas in a spirit of renunciation. The process of accepting sannyas involves worshipping the Lord with sacrifice, giving all one's possessions in charity, thinking that the sannyasi is going to surpass the demigods, that creates stumbling blocks on the path. Because the demigods are thinking that the sannyasis are going to surpass the demigods, they create stumbling blocks on the path of the sannyasi by appearing before him in the shape of his former wife or other women. So they try to block the progress of the sannyasi. For a sannyasi, association with women or even the slightest sight of a woman is more undesirable than taking poison. Except in emergencies, the sannyasi should never wear more clothing than a loincloth or some simple covering over his loincloth. He should carry no more than his staff and water pot, giving up all violence to living creatures. He should become subdued in the functions of his body, mind, and speech. For example, drink water only after filtering it through a portion of his cloth. Speak only words that possess the purity of truth. Perform only those activities his mind has carefully ascertained to be pure. So this is sannyas. With the mind, words, and body, you are very conscious of every act that one does. He should remain detached and fixed on the self and travel alone to such pure places as the mountains, rivers, forests. Thus engaged, he should remember the Supreme Lord and dwell in a place that is fearless and not heavily populated. He should take his alms each day at 7 homes chosen at random from those of the members of the 4 social classes, avoiding only the homes of those who are cursed or fallen. Taking the food gathered through begging, he should leave the populated area and go to a reservoir of water in a secluded place. There, having taken a bath and washed one's hands thoroughly, one should distribute portions of the food to others who may request it. One should do this without speaking. Then, having thoroughly cleansed the remnants, one should eat everything on one's plate, leaving nothing for future consumption. So this is the requirement for the sannyasi. In this way, he should always be mindful that hankering for sense gratification is bondage, and engaging the objects of the senses in the service of Lord Madhav is liberation. If one lacks knowledge and renunciation, or continues to be troubled by the unconquered 6 enemies headed by lust and the all-powerful senses, or if one accepts the Tridandi renounced order simply for the purpose of carrying out a livelihood, then he will achieve, as his result, only the killing of his own soul. So taking this vow of sannyas is a big, big thing. Paramhamsa is not under the control of injunctions and prohibitions. He is a devotee of the Lord. So this is somebody who has become a pure devotee of the Lord, Parahamsa. He never engages in fruitive rituals in the Karmakand section of the Vedas. He does not act or speak against the Vedic injunctions. He never speaks like a mere logician or skeptic, nor does he take any side whatsoever in useless arguments. He never lets others frighten or disturb him. He never frightens or disturbs others. He tolerates the insults of others, never himself belittles anyone. He never creates hostility with anyone for the sake of the material body. Although actually competent, he wanders about like a dull person. And although most learned, he engages himself like an insane fool in incoherent speech. It's like Jad Bharat. He was a Paramahamsa, more than a sannyasi, pure devotee who just remained very hidden. Paramahamsa accepts what comes of his own accord. He sees the Supreme Lord in all creatures and also all living beings within the Supreme Lord. In order to keep his body alive for performing worship of the Lord, he accepts whatever excellent or inferior food, clothing, bedding he can obtain without endeavor. Although he has to make some effort to find food for maintaining his body, he does not become joyful when he finds something, nor does he become depressed when not finding anything. The Supreme Lord himself, although not at all subject to the Vedic orders and prohibitions, by his own free will executes various prescribed duties. Similarly, the Paramahamsa, even while on the platform of freedom from subjugation to Vedic rules and prohibitions, carries out various duties. Because his perception of duality has been completely eradicated by transcendental knowledge. So he doesn't see difference between good or bad, heat and cold, etc. Which is his transcendental knowledge, which is focused on the Supreme Lord. He obtains upon the demise of the material body, the liberation known as Shasti, in which one becomes equal in opulence with the Lord. The person who desires his own best interest should take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, filling his mind with faith, keeping free from enviousness, and remaining fixed in devotion. This disciple should serve the spiritual master, whom he should regard as non-different from the Supreme Lord. So, spiritual duties for the different varnas. A brahmachari, service to the spiritual master. Householder, protection of living beings and sacrifice. Vanaprastha is austerities and philosophical understanding. Sannyasi is self-control, non-violence. And then celibacy, practiced by householders at all times except once a month when the wife is fertile. Penance, cleanliness, self-satisfaction, friendliness with all living beings. Above all, worship of the Supreme Lord are duties meant for every Jiva soul. So what's the ultimate purpose of the Varnashram system? One acquires firm devotion for the Supreme Lord by always rendering service to the Supreme Lord through one's particular prescribed duty, by not engaging in the worship of other personalities, and also by thinking of all creatures as the place of residence of the Supreme Lord in the form as Supersoul. The followers of the Karmakand section of the Vedas can attain the planets of the forefathers, and so on, by their ritualistic activities. So that's Karmakanda, those who worship in the fruitive rituals in the Vedas. But if they become endowed with devotion for the Supreme Lord, then by these same activities, they can achieve the supreme stage of liberation. Amazing. Those who are followers of Varnashram system accept religious principles according to authorized traditions of proper conduct. When such Varnashram duties are dedicated to Krishna in loving service, they award the supreme perfection of life. So Varnashram Dharma is the same as Sanatana Dharma. And if we get it right, we can, through Varnashram Dharma, get liberated. Okay, we're going to stop there. Any questions, any comments? Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.